The Newsday continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Jago Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. Several economists hiked their inflation rate forecast for this year after the inflation print saw its first spike in 7 months in August. The Nomura Global Markets Research raised its projection to 5.9% from 5.3%. Global Source Partners has likewise upwardly adjusted its forecast to 5.8% from 5.5%. Pantheon Macroeconomics and Citigroup Inc. have also hiked the inflation forecast to 5.6%. This follows the 5.3 inflation print in August, which snapped the 6-month deceleration streak. Despite this, China Bank Chief Economist Dominique Velasquez tells One News Now Business that there's still a chance for inflation to slow in the remaining months of the year.
We think inflation is going to trend down, though still a little bit elevated. So maybe for the end of the year, 5.8%.
Okay.
In terms of growth, we think there's still some slowdown just because, we're really out of this revenge spending. We do have higher borrowing
Yes.
costs.
Meanwhile, analysts believe that the Bangko Sentral will not end its policy pause despite the August inflation spike. Last month, the Monetary Board kept its policy rate at a near 16-year high of 6.25%. The Monetary Board, though, recently expressed openness to hike rates in light of what 5.3 inflation rate last month. But for Velasquez, hiking rates is not necessary at this point.
I think the cumulative 425 basis points is enough already. We've seen GDP slow down. We also think that some of the pressures that we experienced last August was largely supply side and could be addressed by other means, not really hiking interest rates yet again.
President Bongbong Marcos secures $22 million or about $1.3 billion worth of investment pledges from Indonesian firms. Marcos Jr. met with top executives of Indonesian companies on the sidelines of the ASEAN Summit in Jakarta. The palace says the companies met with Marcos Jr. for increased partnerships on animal health, artificial intelligence, and digital connectivity. Aside from these, the palace says the Philippine private sector signed a deal with its Southeast Asian counterparts to improve ties in agriculture and small business development. Heads up, Meralco customers, the power distributor might impose an increase on electricity bills this month. The company attributes this to an expected increase in generation charge. If the power rate hike pushes through, Meralco said it will cut off 2 months of its charge reduction. In August, the overall rate of a typical household was reduced to 10 pesos and 9 centavos per kilowatt hour. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The $3.5 billion Makati subway project is at risk of being scrapped due to jurisdiction issues between Makati and Taguig. Project developer Infradev Holdings disclosed to the Philippine Stock Exchange that alignment of the subway will no longer be feasible. Infradev explained that the planned depot and the stations under the subway project will be in the affected areas that are now under Taguig jurisdiction. The company says those affected are the planned subway depot in Barangay Sembo, a planned station in University of Makati in West Rembo, and another planned station in Hospital ng Makati in Pembo. Infradev has asked the Makati City government for a meeting to discuss the Supreme Court ruling. The Makati subway project is supposed to be the first subway in the country, scheduled for partial opening by 2025. The $3.5 billion Makati subway project is at risk of being despite these challenges. Okay, to talk more about these issues, we will talk to our guest, Sir Primo. Sir Primo, thank you very much for joining us this morning on One News Now.
Morning, Chad. Good morning to all the viewers of One News.
Yes, sir. Let's get right to it. What are the other options should Infradev and Makati look into to push through with this project?
Jago, our call is for Infradev and the Makati LGU to consider including Taguig LGU in this project so we can push through with the planned project alignment. The new issues stem from the Supreme Court decision that declared parts of Makati as part of Taguig. So we know this involves a lot of things. But we are hoping that the good mayors of Makati and Taguig will set aside their differences for the sake of the commuting public and, of course, the nation. And, of course, their respective local economies will also benefit from this project eventually. If this requires another JBA to be signed with the city of Taguig, we think Infradev should proceed.
Okay, but how would you describe the value of this project for commuters? I mean, how important really is it for the subway project to push through?
The subway project is a very important mass transport project. We are looking for a lot of mass transportation projects, and this is one of it. It directly serves the country's business district, the Makati Central Business District, and will also indirectly benefit another important business area, which is the Bonifacio Global City, which is also in Taguig. It is projected to serve around 700,000 passengers on a daily basis, and it will also be connected to the MRT, the one in EDSA, to the Guadalupe station, and to the proposed Metro Manila subway through the Kalayaan station near the University of Makati.
That's right, and I think a lot of commuters are looking forward to this, given the increase of traffic volume. But do you think the 2025 target for the partial opening is still possible with all these jurisdiction issues coming out?
Well, we are hoping for the soonest possible opening date. It is true, however, that this new issue with the Supreme Court may result to moving it a bit further to the future. Well, moving the opening date, however, is way better than shelving the project altogether.
And sir, in case Makati and Taguig fail to cooperate, what other measures are you suggesting?
Well, we suggest another option is for the DOTR or the MMDA, the national government, to take over on the side of the government. That is, if Makati and Taguig will not cooperate with each other. In this case, we can even extend this beyond the two cities. In fact, NAIA is about just 3 kilometers away from the southernmost station of the proposed alignment. So we think all hope is not lost if ever Makati and Taguig will not cooperate.
Regarding these issues in the project, have both cities or localities been coordinating with your group on your suggestions?
We have yet to communicate our suggestions to the LGUs, but we already released a statement in the media, and we hope they are monitoring it.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Primo Murillo, convener of Commuter Group, the Passenger Forum. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having us, Diego.
And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.